Hey, everybody. Great Monday evening. Great Monday evening. Happy June 3rd. It's Dr. Anissa Short with Conversations with Chosen Pen. Once again, with another fantastic guest, a fantastic conversation piece. And guess what, you guys? Dr. Norma is here again. We're rolling. Dr. Norma is with us. And so this conversation, I have no doubt, is going to be very much engaging because not only is she here, but we have another phenomenal guest that we want to introduce you to. But before you meet him, I want you to know this month of June, as we know, is the month in which we celebrate fathers. And so our podcast each Monday in this month is going to be a salute to fatherhood. We're going to not only introduce you to some fantastic men that live out fathers, let's say fathers, but even some of them are authors. So we'll not only get an opportunity to meet them, talk to them a little bit about what fatherhood means to them, what they think 21st century fatherhood looks like. And then, of course, they'll introduce us to their book if they have, by chance, published a book. Dr. Norma, are you excited about this month's feature?
I am, because as we've worked on this great month, I've had an interest in fatherhood with boys and fathers and forgiveness and absent fathers and all that for the last couple of years. So I'm really excited about what we're doing this month, because hopefully we'll be able to cover some, if not all, of those particular ideas. But I'm also happy to be here with our guest tonight. So I'm sure we have a lot of information to share with you, a lot of nuggets that will be passed along. But as I say, we're going to talk to him, hopefully, about fatherhood in the 21st century, the difference between what happens now and how he fathers and how he was fathered years ago, or how his grandfather was actually fathered. And so we can also leave nuggets for all of our men that we're going to be putting together a roadmap or a toolkit or something for them that will help them to be better fathers in the 21st century.
That sounds amazing. What we want everyone to do is to like, share, and comment. Like, share, and comment. We definitely want you to forward this podcast to friends and family in your social media community, because we are looking to grow more in 2024. And that includes growing our family, our community here at Chosen Pen. Our special guest, Mr. Tarik Lee, became a part of our Chosen Pen family inadvertently through his phenomenal wife last year. And of course, we've had opportunity to see him again, and of course now yet again. So thank you, Mr. Tarik Lee, for saying yes to the invitation. Thank you for being a part of Conversations with Chosen Pen.
Thank you for having me. I already feel like I'm a part of as you said, the Chosen Pen family through my wife. So I'm thankful for the invite, and I'm glad to be here.
Well, Tarik, once you connect with us, you can't get rid of us. So you just call me cousin and Dr. Norma Mama, like everybody else.
We locked in for life then. Let's go.
We locked in for life. So Tarik Lee, tell everyone about you, a little bit about who you are, what makes you tick. Tell us who is Mr. Tarik Lee.
Okay. So I think a lot of people would kind of start with what they do. I'm going to go backwards, because what I am, when you ask, who's Tarik, really I am a powerful spiritual being that is learning, loving, and growing during my human experience. And so that includes being a brother, a father, a husband, a cousin, a friend, a business partner. So I have been in business for over 20 years. I've done life coaching. I have a book. Both of you know the Hope House is coming, so I'm a big part of the Hope House University and Hope Enterprises. I do a lot of things. I love poetry, music, and just helping people take their lives to the next level. So that's all of that is me.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, listen, I'm gonna try not to be mad at you. You have me on here talking about Tarik. How did I not know your name was Tarik? I guess I've been calling you Mr. Lee or Tahira's husband so much that. So I apologize in advance for mispronouncing your first name. I have a cousin who spells it the same way, but we call him Tarik. So Tarik, thank you again for saying yes to being a part of this whole conversation. Salute to fatherhood, the 21st century. That's what this is all about. And so I know you are a father. Tell us a little bit about how many kids you got, boys, girls. Tell us the dynamic of that.
Oh, I got a squad then. So we have 6 children. Most of them are grown. So I have Isaiah and Caleb. That was my first marriage. We have Tiana and Roberto from my wife's first marriage. And we have Atia and Terica. So we have 6 kids all together. T and Terica. I don't know if you met them yet, but they're the two youngest. They're the ones that are left, and they're running me for everything I got. It's 18 and Terica's 13. They're the two so-called babies, but they are, going fast toward adulthood. Isaiah is 20. He's going to be, you just made me think. He's going to be 24 in August. So he's going to be 24. Caleb is 22, just got married not too long ago. So we're having a whole lot of discussions. Roberta was 26 and Tiana is 21. So we have a lot of kids. They're all awesome. They're all different. And it's a beautiful journey.
Tell us what fatherhood has taught you.
Fatherhood has taught me, and this is going to sound, I don't know if it's going to answer the question, but it's really taught me the importance of fatherhood. I didn't have a father growing up. I didn't have any real consistent male role models in my life growing up. So when I became a father, I realized just how important a father is. My grandmother used to say to me, you can't miss what you never had. So as a child growing up, I was raised by these powerful, wonderful warrior Black women that did the best they could to raise me, but they couldn't teach me to be a man. But they did an amazing job. When I really started to look and really need a father is when I started doing those real important things, trying to be a husband, trying to be a father. And then I didn't have a model for that. Thank God I did have, as I got older, I did have my wife's father, Johnny Frank, who I love so much and has helped me so much. But outside of that, I didn't have a lot of models of fatherhood. So really, it's taught me the importance of it. As I stated with my son, Caleb, who's married now, throughout his life, just being able to talk to him and walk him through the things that I've learned and the mistakes that I've made. When I was around his age in my 20s, I didn't have a lot of people to bounce ideas off, or an accountability partner. So for me to be able to be that for him and to be something I never seen for my children, it's just so important. And I want to salute Chosen Pen so much, because I was there for the celebration of the mothers for the 21st century. And now to see everything that you are doing for the fathers, and just on the next level, and really wanting to set things up for fathers in the future to be even better. So really salute to what you guys are doing. So happy.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Norma. I think you hear Mr. Lee speaks to one of the platforms for which you are very passionate about. Chosen Pen has taken on, even in the past, about we've had a lot of discussion on what absent fathers, young men who grew up without a father, and they realized the deficiency, or I don't want to where they could have been maybe at a different place. Dr. Norma, you want to speak to what Tarik just said?
I think, that is a big passion of mine. Although I grew up with a father, I didn't grow up with brothers, but my father mentored a lot of boys throughout his life, and my nephew, of course. But and when in Africa, that's one of the biggest thing, because I was asked during one of my forgiveness presentations, what is it that I could do to help the boys in Africa that had no fathers, that they're at a pandemic state there with the number of boys who don't have fathers, and they have no clue as to how to become men. There was no clue as to how to grow up. There was no model, no role model. There's nothing for them to read to even determine how they should become fathers. So what was happening, it was just perpetuating itself over and over and over again. The boys will say, well, we have our uncles and but our uncles were raised by their mothers or by my grandmother, so they didn't have a role model. And all the way back, it was just like it's a generational curse, basically, if you want to say that. But so that's how my interest grew. And I started doing writings and presentations for them, and then back in America as well. So, but I do, one of the things I do for them is the forgiveness piece, because I say to them, when you stop and think about it, what is it? And you come boil down to it, it's not that their father isn't there, but they're just so angry that their father is not there. And when they're young, they really don't know that anger is there. They don't know that there's a bitter root there. So they're doing a lot of acting out behaviors simply because there's hate and hatred and anger towards the person that they thought or they think should have been in their lives. So we go through that whole forgiveness process of forgiving whomever you think that person is. And let's fill that void that you have, that anger, with love. And once we fill that gap with love, then we can move on and find some ways and give you some pointers, give you some avenues in which you to be a better father. And that all starts with love. Let's take all this other stuff out and move forward in love. And the biggest part of that in being the father, if the children don't usually care if you don't have any money, they don't care if you're gonna do whatever. But if you show them the love, then they can overcome. We've had boys that they've shown the love. Now they're doing better in school. They're not fighting, they're not bullying, they're not doing all these other things. Boys are pulling up their pants because now they feel like they are somebody. Their self-esteem increases. With the love, they can look around and say, well, people do love me. They don't dislike me because I don't have a father. I'm not acting like this because I don't have a father, because I understand why I was acting the way I was acting. So that's why this particular piece is so very, very important to me, because I look around and your wife and I, we always talk about the pipeline from the third graders and the high school graduates who are unable to read, and we know they already have jail cells waiting for them. So it is very close to me in that way. So whatever we can do, but that's my biggest piece, is to get them to love themselves as well as to love others around them.
That's good, Dr. Norma. That's really good. Two things I know for sure is that fathers are valuable. They bring a valuable piece to the puzzle. I don't think God would have intended for a woman and a man to start a family if he didn't have something in each one of them to contribute to the rearing of children. We talk about fathers being important to men, to boys and rearing boys, but they are just as important to raising girls. I had my father in my home. So I do know and understand the value of a present father, because let's be clear, some people have fathers in the home that are not present. Mm-hmm. So we want to say present fathers. But then not only that, Tarik and Dr. Norma, you hit on something with regards to having mentors, because sometimes, unfortunately, due to life circumstances, the biological father is not there or cannot be there. And one of the things I saw in growing up, Dr. Norma, you made reference to this. I had male cousins whose dad was not present in their lives, but they had their uncles. They had, my father and a few other uncles to do things with them on the weekend or engage them in activities, to talk, be able to have man talk, as my husband calls it, man talk. And that's important. So now growing up, I don't have children, but I have nephews. And so one of the things my husband has done, he was not raised by his biological father, but his grandfather and his uncles were very, very active in his life. And so now he can pass on, like he said, the tools that his grandfather left for his toolbox. He can pass them on to his own nephews now, And so, Tarik, I want to commend you, because even though you didn't have an active father in your life, you understand the importance and the vital role that a father plays. And even though you have adult male children, you have not relinquished your responsibility or your decision to be there for them. And so that says a lot. What have you learned? I mean, I know you said you learned the value of fatherhood, but what is one of the things that I guess you could say has been most prevalent for you, that if you had known then what you know now, you would have done different?
There's a few things. One thing I want to piggyback off of Dr. Norma real quick is that what she's doing with forgiveness is so powerful, because I harbored this pain and anger toward my father for not being there. And then a long time ago, I was talking to my mother about their relationship and what happened and what transpired. And she was so open and honest about everything that happened, and hearing the journey and all the pain she went through and how she was able to forgive him, let me know that I could forgive him. Wow. And that really changed things for me, letting me know that I can let that go, all that resentment that I was holding. Because at the end of the day, as human beings on a journey, we're all trying to do our best, but we all fall short of the glory of God on any day. So, but her sharing that with me definitely started me on that road to just trying to let that go and let that resentment and that hurt and that pain go, for him not being there, and ultimately knowing that even though my biological father wasn't there, that God never left me.
That's
not
awesome.
For 1 second did God leave me, because
I love it.
I wouldn't be here. So
I love it.
I definitely wanted to say that. Well, what I learned is when you talk about mothers, when you talk about fathers, what you're talking about leaders and leadership. So the one thing that I learned in being a father is that you have to learn how to lead yourself first before you can lead anybody else. And that has been so pivotal for me because definitely young and even now, I'm always going to be a work in progress, but learning how to always to be in integrity, to have these goals, to set these
Mhm,
goals, to achieve
mhm,
these
mhm.
things, and then showing up. So learning how to lead yourself and showing up is half the battle. And it's just really important. Those are two things that really started to change everything in my life, with parenthood and business and in everything that I do.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Dr. Norma, do you have a question for Mr. Lee?
No, well, I have plenty of questions, but they may not be prevalent to this particular conversation. Because we know that in talking about roadmaps and how you lead your children today as compared to however they were led by whomever they were led in the past, what are some of the things that you see that you have to learn now? And I know one of the things, of course, is education. So you may want to talk a little bit about how that has come about, because I know when we were going to school, you went to school and you learned your ABCs and you did what the teacher said to do. And if you got a spanking at school, you got a spanking by the grant everywhere along the way, on the way back home till you got home, then you got another one. So, so there was that real village there. So talking about that and how that compares to today. Uh, what is the village today, or is there a village?
I think honestly there's a need for a village. There's a need to get that village back. I grew up under that. I definitely grew up under that. Whether I got in trouble at school, I was getting in trouble at home. If I messed up when I was in my neighborhood, especially growing up in New Jersey, women that were they didn't have to be blood related to me. They would let me know what time it is, and by the time I got home, my grandmother already knew, so I was in for it again. And it was so impactful to know that people cared about you, one, and two, that there are definitely consequences for everything that you do. I know in today's society, people are more sensitive. You can't say anything to my child and things of that nature. But I definitely believe it takes a village to raise a child, to raise your children. And when you have more elders speaking that knowledge and more people stepping up, it's a game changer. I know it definitely was a game changer for me, having a lot of people speak positivity in my life when I would go to church. Even if my grandmother couldn't take me to church, she would have people in the community, Miss Dunson and Aunt Barbara and Aunt Betsy and all these amazing women that would take me and my sister to church and make sure that we were fed physically and spiritually. So
That's
to
good.
answer that question, what happened back in the day needs to come back in regards to that village.
I
And
love it.
how can we do that? I think that's the big question, because we have the technology, we have all these things in place that are supposed to be for the betterment of our children, but we don't see that they are getting the emotional part that they need to get. I mean, they're getting education, academics. Well, we really can't say they're getting that either, but we're getting the parts prior to, and I don't even want to say this, but I guess I will, prior to desegregation to now. What is the missing piece?
There has to be a commitment. I know that we are committed. The Hope House University is definitely committed to bringing that back. We're definitely going to leverage technology, the platform that we're putting together for the students, where we're going to have a community that's watching what's going on, that's going to help with the social emotional learning piece of it, and just being there for them, not just with the everyday education of what they need to do to be successful and to pass the curriculum, but also what's going on in your real life. How can I be there for you? Because ultimately, it's those little things that are the game changers. So, like you were
Yeah.
saying, even though we have these tools and technology, as one of my favorite preachers on the West Coast, Michael Beckwith, would say, we live in a high tech, low touch society. So we
Yeah.
definitely need to leverage technology, but also bring it back in a way where we're helping our children with everything that they need. Real quick, one of the things that helped me, I was a cashier, and this man saw that my tie was just not looking right. My cousin that helped me tie that tie that day, he did. Actually, it was Tracy. Tracy helped me tie that day, and she did the best that she could. But he was a businessman. He know it just didn't look right. And as I was checking him out, he said, "Let me show you how to tie a tie." He untied his tie, and right there on the cashier line, he showed me how to tie a tie. Mm-hmm. And on my lunch, I practiced tying a tie. And to this day, I can do Windsor knots and everything else because he took time to make me a part of his community. And we need to bring that back in a real way.
Right. I love that. I absolutely love that. I want to touch on something with regards to community, the accountability, community commitment part, how we tie that together. One of the things I think that was very profound in what you shared is the fact that your mom shared with you how forgiving your father for whatever that was. And you saw that if my mom could forgive him, I could as well. Okay. Dr. Norma made reference to the significance of forgiveness. And I don't profess to know it all, but just based on some of the conversations I have had, especially with some of my sister girlfriends, who's the dad is absent. He could, quote, do better, and a lot of the conversation stems the underlying energy that you can surmise is that there's some unforgiveness on her part, which then spills down to the child. And now the child is suffering adversely because the father's not there. Then possibly even spills over into, well, all men, you can't trust them, etc. So now I don't have the dad. I don't encourage or foster that or encourage that relationship. But not only that, but I don't foster the relationship for you to be connected to any man because I'm still harboring unforgiveness. I believe, and you tell me if I'm wrong, I think you said this in so many words, is that you were able to move beyond what you felt to be a negative because of how you saw your mom exemplify and how she stood in the truth of the necessity of forgiveness. Is that fair to say?
That's absolutely fair because I had my own anger, but then one of the things as a son, I'm protective of my mother. So I had an extra anger for what she endured. But when I was able to hear her story and then, her telling me that she was able to forgive, it opened up a door for me to say, you know what, I can forgive too. Yeah. And I can move forward too.
That's good. And the ability to forgive actually opens the door for community. Would you say that's a fair assessment, Dr. Norma?
I do. And I mean, and listening to that, I think there's another book we need to do in this, and that's the mothers forgiving the fathers to help the children. But because that's a big piece. But yes, definitely. I'm all in on forgiveness and how one person can, I guess, that bitter root can spread and contaminate an entire family, an entire neighborhood, an entire church, just because that one person is harboring bitterness and unforgiveness. And as each parent understands the importance and the significance, and that's why I say we go to church. Once we get saved, we tell them we're forgiven. We practice forgive on Easter Sunday when we go for Easter. So the biggest unforgiveness or forgiveness day in a Christian's life, but that kind of gets passed over with the Easter egg hunts and all of that. But we don't understand that forgiveness is a lifestyle, and in order for us to get into heaven, we have to forgive. And I think that piece we don't preach as much as we need to do that and to show the love, because we don't preach that as much as we should either, as far as I'm concerned. But that's just the bottom line. If you show love, you've shown unforgiveness, if you're forgiven and you've shown forgiveness for whomever you have that for, and you've replaced that with love, then therefore you have the scriptures, you have whatever you need to be able to do all these other things. I mean, it may not happen overnight, but it will happen. And that's the freedom, that we talk about, the freedom from forgiveness. And if we all live with freedom, we could see those little boys becoming masters at whatever educational pursuit they wish to have. And we can pursue that and prove and show that and surround them. And I'll just hop on it for just a minute, because with the educational things that they're doing, the university there, or the school, I call it everything. But it's a technical piece, but they have surrounded it with a village.
Exactly. I was going to point to that. I was going to make reference to that. Each child
has their own village of 5 people within their own individual structure. And I just love that. I think it's absolutely amazing.
So, Mr. Lee, I want to ask you one other question before we talk about your book, because I think this is important. You made reference to this stranger, a perfect stranger, a man you did not know, took time out to show you how to tie your tie and to do it to improve upon your attempt. Let's just say it that way. And because of that, you tell what was that? What was that? How did that feel?
It was awesome. One, I was at a point where, you don't know what you don't know. I didn't know my tie looked bad, first of all. It was on first. I thought, Tracy did the best she could. I thought it looked decent, but he was able to show me, no, this is exactly what it needs to look like. And I was able to, practice that and, be able to, tie a tie and get better at tying a tie. But it was just that someone took the time out of their day when they clearly could have just, like most people do, just let me check them out and go about their business. But they stopped and said, you know what, let me help you improve
Exactly.
upon your appearance, basically improve on your life. Because a lot of times people will look at you and they don't see you. They see what you got on. They see how you look first. So
Right.
it was pretty impactful. Now, I tell that story because we never know the impact a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds can have on somebody's life. You know,
Exactly.
so it's
Exactly.
just, and to Dr. Norma's point, like, I really believe we need to preach and talk more about the power of forgiveness. More people need to talk about it, how powerful it is and freeing it is. So, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
that's good. I wanted to bring back that bit of the conversation that you shared because it points to a simple principle is that it doesn't take a whole lot. And what community does is community takes out time to make a difference. That's what community does. So for some people, it may be their complete vocation. It's something that they do as a coach or a teacher, educator, that kind of thing. But then there are the others who you come into contact from day to day that can provide an encouraging word, give you a hug, help you tie your tie, right? That will make a significant difference and shift the trajectory of your life, because they did a kind thing. Here it is, you're a grown man with grown children, and you're still reflecting on the time that the man in the store took time out to help you tie your tie. It makes a difference. It really does. Mr. Lee, you are an author, I heard through the grapevine. Tell us about your book or books.
Yes, one right now. I'm actually working on the second edition. The second edition is going to be coming up. It's called Destined for Success, and it's basically the book came about through a lot of my life coaching. So I would sit down with some of my clients and I would ask them what's called the $1 million question. So whether you have $100 million, 200 million, whatever that number is, where you don't have to worry about money anymore, you can take care of yourself, your family, the community. And then I would ask them, what would you do with your life? Would you travel? Well, what is that fire that's in your belly? What is that passion? And some people would know right away. They would be like, I want to sing. I want to create art. I want to travel. I want to, whatever it is. And then we would break down on strategies on how to make that happen. But a lot of people were more like a deer in the headlight. They just didn't know. And a lot of times we get so focused on, taking care of our children and our family and just providing, which is nothing wrong with. But years of just working and working and working, a lot of people forget their passion. One of my favorite quotes is from Steve Bow, and he says, I'm paraphrasing, God's gift to you is more talent and ability than you can use in your lifetime. Your gift to God is to discover and use as much as that talent and ability in this lifetime. So is kind of the premise of the book. I break down to help people discover and rediscover what is their passion and then walk them through steps on how to make it a reality. So
I love it. So tell us the title again. What was the title?
the title is Destined for Success.
Destined for Success. How do we secure a copy of it?
So to secure a copy of it and ask about the second edition that's coming, you can go to morehopenow.com. And just inquire about the book. Also, that is the main hub for the Hope House University, where you can find out more about that and donate. So, and also get our socials from there. So anything you're looking for, morehopenow.com.
I love it. I love it. Anything else you want to share before we end the call or
Just
podcast?
that I'm so excited to be here. I do believe this society doesn't value fathers the way they should and look at them in the light when we talk about importance. And that's why, again, I'm so excited for what this month is going to hold and everything that Chosen Pen is doing to celebrate fathers. I know that everything that Chosen Pen does is at the next level. So I just can't wait to meet the guests that's coming and everything that's coming for this month to celebrate fathers and to teach the fathers in the future how to be better. So, this
That
is for
sounds
the fathers
good.
now and the fathers in the future.
I love it. Yeah, you said it in a nutshell. Dr. Norma, any last comments or statements or questions?
No, that's it. Yeah. Hopefully, we'll have an opportunity to have you share with us again before the month is out, or by the time the month is out. But we appreciate you being here and sharing. You have so much to share. I'm sure we did not touch on it all. So hopefully we'll get some more of it on the next round. And please, if you have any kind of questions about your child doing online learning, please go check out their website to see and have more information about the school that they will be engaging in starting in July.
Got it. Hope to do this again real soon. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you.
Listen, every Monday night of this month at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be talking to men about the importance of 21st century fatherhood. A salute to fathers, as we're calling the podcast session. Many of them are not only just fathers, but they are authors as well. So we'll be able to shout out or promote their book. What I want to also say is this: on the last Saturday of this month, Chosen Pen is hosting a virtual experience called 21st Century Fatherhood. So we're going to have some panel discussion, some more conversation. You might see some of the faces from the podcast, you might not, but you will definitely be hearing from some more magnificent men that are out making a difference, some of which are fathers, some of which have committed to mentorship. No matter what, they are committed, they are accountable, and they are present. And so we hope you choose to join us again every Monday night of this month, 6 p.m. Eastern. And then on the last Saturday of this month, we're going to have a summit. Be sure to look out for more information. Follow us on chosenpen.com. Don't forget, like, comment, and share. Even if you're watching the replay, we want to hear from you. We want you to share with those in your community, because in this new year, well, we're halfway through it now, right? In 2024, our theme is we want more in 2024, and we can't do it alone. Thank you in advance for sharing, liking, and commenting. And thank you again for being a part of Conversations with Chosen Men. Have a great Monday